Peace and unconditional revolutionary matriarchal maroon love party people. Thank you for tuning in today as we honor, commemorate, and welcome in about 13 families today whose children's lives were stolen by police brutality, assassinations throughout the United States of America. We know this is a pandemic. This is throughout the world. It's international. We thank you for tuning in, holding space while we continue a legacy of resistance, a legacy of remembering not to forget who we are. And despite of the atrocities, we will still rise. And please do stay for the whole program if you can. We have libations coming up soon. And libations is a spiritual vibration. Everyone, please tune in, have water, have incense burning, whatever you need to hold on to something. Take care of yourself as well. You're going to hear powerful testimonies, and they may make you cry. They're very moving. Every year, we induct new family members, and we are honored to have these family members today with us. We are going to welcome and open up with one of our fierce revolutionary matriarchs, Juanita Young, who needs no introduction in this community, a leader, passionate advocate of justice. Her son, Malcolm Ferguson, was killed by NYPD in March 1st, 2000. And ever since, she's been spearheading campaigns, going out throughout the nation, meeting other family members, holding space for other family members, along with Nicholas Hayward, Ibaye Ashe, who's no longer with us. These families, these individuals, these souls have been lighting the torch, and we are here to support everything and anything they need and what they're doing. You'll be reading some campaigns in the chat. You'll be reading some links, so please click on them, support any way you can. And without further ado, if Juanita Young is here to give the official welcome, because we always are led by the families, we would like to pass it over to Juanita Young, mother of Malcolm Ferguson. Thank you so much. Welcome, Juanita.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the National Stolen Lives Induction Ceremony. The Stolen Line was formed by families to, um, to document police murder. As you heard, my son Malcolm Ferguson was murdered March 1st of 2000. Since the murder of my son, I've been, out here on the streets to prove that these cops are out here killing innocent, unarmed people. The fact that you're not allowed to walk the street without worrying about being gunned down by some trigger-happy cop. I met so many families in the past 20 years of being out here that very little has changed. I come out here today to say we're not going to never give up. We're going to keep fighting for our loved ones. It's not fair what they do to our families. As a mother, the pain has no words to describe what we as mothers have to live every day because some trigger-happy cop decided, or some cop decided to beat or choke somebody to death. When will it end?
Thank you so much, Juanita. If you heard Juanita's words, please do carry on this fight, this legacy. We are now going to be joined by Dr. Kwame Osajifo Kalimara, co-founder of the New African People's Organization and the Malcolm X Grassroots Organization, an educator and priest in the New African Voodoo system, assisted by Ingrid Hill. This fierce revolutionary work matriarch is a vice chair of the Internal Affairs Corresponding Secretary of People's Organization for Progress, National Family Coalition for Justice. Please join in libation in this ceremony, Dr. and Ingrid. Thank you so much.
Yes, good day. Libation is a process in which African people for thousands of years have been invoking spirit to bring spirits into our community. And it's important for us to know that that the name of the ultimate reality creator is known by many names. O ancestors, blacker than the skies of midnight, brighter than the noonday sun, and all of the beautiful shades of Africa in between. Field hands, house servants, factory workers, preachers, teachers, freedom fighters, and those who have resisted in silence, and those who resisted out loud, those whose bones are on the bottom of the Atlantic, and those who chose to survive. Great ancient African priests and mystic scientists, give us the inspiration to fight 1,000 lions. Give us the enlightenment to unravel the mysteries of the universe. Give us the sustenance to travel to the trackless swamps of disharmony. Praise be your names. Help us in time of need. I call out the name of Kiana Nicole Bailey. I call out the name of Philip Benal. I call out the name of Michael Breera. I call out the name of Gregory Edwards. I call out the name of Stone Child Chief Stick. I call out the name of Muhammad Istapan. I call out the name of Sonny Best. I call out the name of Fred Cox. I call out the name of Sincere Pierce. I call out the name of Carl Dorsey. I call out the name of Kwame Okran. I call out the name of Terrell Massey. I call out the name of Bernard Pearl Jr. I call out the name of Gula Dale III. I call out the name of Malcolm Ferguson. I call out the name of Justin Smith. I call out the name of John Calato. I call out the name of Nicholas Hayward Jr. I call out the name of Gil Barber. I call out the name of Jordan Reese Sims. I call out the name of Theodore. I call out the name of Jesse Saray. I call out the name of Francesco Siena. I call out the name of Randy Weaver. I call out the name of Antonio Armstrong. I call it the name of Travis Possett. I call it the name of Shahid Bassel. And there are additional names, and I would like Ingrid to share some additional names.
I call out the names of Carolyn Sissy Adams, of Kashad Ashford, of Balad Deshaun Colbert, Sandra Bland, Eleanor Bumpus, Rakia Boyd, Stanton Crew, Dawood Culver, Danette Strawberry Daniels, Barry DeLoach, Earl Faison, Basia Farrell, Brian Fillmore, Jaquil Fields, Daryl DeRose Lacroix Fuqua, Jacque Graham, Ayana Jones, Abdul Kamal, Warren Lee, Mashawn Leach, Tasha Mazie, Rashid Fuquan Moore, Shakan Nance, Michael Newkirk, Jerome Reed, Brianna Taylor, Santiago Chago Villanueva, and there are many more to call out.
We are now at this point where we can say that the whole family is present. The ceremony has begun. The family is present. It is done.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kwame Osajifo Kalamara and Ingrid Hill. We appreciate your energy and the vibrations of setting us off with honoring our ancestors, remembering not to forget everyone here. They are still with us alive and well. When you hear the name of your ancestors called, please do say Ashe. Next time you are celebrating or honoring our ancestors, have a glass of water, light some candle to lead the way. And thank you so much again for setting us off with this vibration. As we know, this is a spiritual and intense journey that we're about to embark on and continuing for centuries. We're going to have a brief history of Stolen Lives project by Carl Dix. He's a co-founder of October 22nd Coalition and spokesperson for the Revolutionary Communist Party USA. Advocate in the streets, advocate for justice, doing this thing everywhere you go nationally. Carl Dix. Thank you so much for joining us, Carl.
Thank you for that introduction, Spirit Child. And look, let me just get to it. The October 22nd Coalition was initiated in 1996 because we faced a nationwide epidemic of police brutality and murder by police. And the idea for doing this came from the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian, who saw that this official brutality and murder was aimed at suppressing people the system feared could spark the kind of uprisings that Black people had spearheaded in the 1960s. And look, the reality was then and remains today that this kind of brutality can only be ended through an actual revolution, and building this kind of resistance is crucially necessary to prepare people and change the political terms of things in society to have a chance to make that revolution and win. Now, the October 22nd Coalition adopted a mission of one, providing a platform for those whose lives have been devastated by police brutality, to open the eyes of other people to the widespread nature of this horror, because they would always tell us when we caught their pigs murdering somebody that it was an isolated incident. And two, to rally people of different races and from different backgrounds to stand with those who had been devastated by police murder, to have their back in building a fight that could stop police brutality, repression, and the criminalization of a generation. In order to further this mission, we conceived of a book titled Stolen Lives, Killed by Law Enforcement. This book would contain photos of people killed by the police, the truth about how they were killed, and contributions from their families about their lives. This book was published in 1998, and if you dig for it, you can find some copies of it still. This is where the Stolen Lives Project emanated from, how it originated. And this was before like the Washington Post and the Guardian in England started putting their resources into publishing this list. We did this book on a completely grassroots basis, and it contributed mightily to changing how people saw the police and their role in society. Now, I started out by saying that it would take an actual revolution to end the horror of murder by police. That was true in 1996 when we started this October 22nd movement and created the Stolen Lives, and it remains equally true today. Law enforcement has killed almost 1,100 people so far this year in this country. That's more than the number reported killed in any year to date, although you can't trust their reports because they keep a lot of that stuff under wraps and they lie. This has got to stop, and for that reason, the Stolen Lives Project, the work that it does to memorialize the victims of police brutality and terror, and to gather the families and help them build off of each other's strengths, remains very important. This has got to stop, and the reality is and remains you can't do it by reforming the police, because these brutalizing, murdering police are doing the job the system has them out there for. As Bob Avakian, the revolutionary leader, says in Basics, the role of the police is not to serve the people, it is to serve the system that rules over the people. So to end that official terror, we got to get rid of this system. And today is a time when doing that becomes more possible because of the tremendous divisions at the top of society, the way that the fascists and the Democrats are fighting each other, the way the system and the society is divided up. Right now, that seems to be on a trajectory towards something truly terrible, but it's also creating the potential to wrench something different, something truly emancipating out of it. That would be a real movement for an actual revolution, and a real revolution that could lead to a totally different and far better way for people to live. I can't speak to that in any depth right now. That's not what I'm here to do. But if you want to dig into that, you can go to the website revcom.us, or you can hit me up on Twitter at Carl_Dix, and I'll be happy to get into that. I want to close by saying to those who have lost loved ones at the hands of the police, I know your pain and sorrow is unimaginable. Lean on those who have gone through this before to gain the strength to weather this devastating horror and to come through it using the bitterness and rage it fills you with to expose this system for what it is. Learn from and rely on sisters like Juanita Young, Ingrid Hill, Andre Smith, and others, brothers like Nicholas Hayward, who on one level is no longer with us, but is always here with us. He's always presente. And you can always rely on me to help you get into what causes this horror and other horrors of this system, and to learn about the revolution that can stop this all. So with that, I want to end my participation right now, and I'll be coming back to induct some families later.
Thank you so much, Carl Dix, co-founder of the October 22nd Coalition, which I do want to make a note, just commemorated 27 straight years for National Days of Protest nationwide. Wherever you are on this live stream, please do, as Carl mentioned, organize with us. We talked about Nicholas Hayward, Ibaye Ashe, his son, Nicholas Hayward Jr., Ibaye Ashe. Carl Dix mentioned 1,000 so far this year. That has been the case for over a decade. Every year, at least 1,000 of our people are assassinated and their lives are stolen by police. Now, today, we are also honoring Dr. Mutulu Shakur, who's coming home. We like to connect these struggles. Political prisoners, those who are behind the walls. We organized for freedom, Mumia Abu Jamal, Maroon Schultz, who's no longer with us, Ibaye Ashed. These people have fought constantly and even still behind enemy lines, still fighting for the liberation of our people, which means the justice in the streets, which means the occupation of police. And without further ado, we'll come back to that every now and again. Thank you, Doreen of the Maroon Party for Liberation, Rosa, Carla Berry, as well as Beth Bliss, putting out information on the chat. Please click those links. We're going to have our first inductions of the New Jersey Stolen Lives certificates will be presented by the family of Valerie Colbert, the sister of retired Army Major Julia Dale III, killed by Newton, New Jersey police on July 4th, 2021, just recently. Thank you for joining us, Valerie, and we'd love to hear your story, and please do the presentation. Thank you so much.
Hi, how's everybody doing? Like he said, I'm Valerie Dale Colbert. My brother, he was an Army Major for 42 years. He served the Army and over 3 tours. He was murdered by the hands of 6-month police officer Garrett Armstrong and 1-year officer Stephen Neidel on 4th of July of last year, 2021, at the height of the fireworks finale in New Jersey. And within 12 seconds, 7 shots was hit my brother's body. And this was after his wife called for help as her husband was struggling with a PTSD episode. The case is under investigation, and it is with the State Attorney General office and is considered a homicide and will be going to grand jury in Essex County. Like you said, I am here joining other families. My brother was inducted last year with Stolen Lives Project, and I'm here to introduce Carl Dorsey's family as well. He was killed by Newark, New Jersey police January 1st, 2021. So that was just 6 months prior to my brother's death. His sisters are joining us today, Medina Person and Nakaya Bey, and stepfather Abdul Malik Muhammad is here representing Carl Dorsey's family. And I will also be introducing another family as well.
Hi, my name is Medina Person. I'm Carl's sister, as Valerie mentioned. And I just wanted to say that my brother should still be here with us today. And I feel like the reason why he isn't here with us today is because of Newark Police Department's failure to hold their officers accountable for what they say and what they do. Because this same officer who killed my brother was involved in a lawsuit years prior in which he pulled over a football coach and a few teenagers and told them, "You have no effing rights, with the police." And he lived by those exact words. This is how he felt about civilians, and this is how he treated my brother in his last minutes and seconds of his life, as if we have no effing rights because they're the police. He had no reason to shoot my brother, no less kill him. And we just, every day that goes by, we're very angry and frustrated that there's nothing going on as far as the status of his case. The police officer is still working, And every day that goes by, he has family and friends that miss him. He has children that miss him, his siblings and his cousins, his aunts, uncles, his friends, all of everyone who loved him. We all miss him.
I'm Naima Dorsey. I'm the oldest sibling, and I just have a few questions. I just like to know, this cop still goes to work as if he hasn't committed a crime and killing our brother, and here it is. We're still waiting on answers that we haven't got anything of, and it's going on 2 years, and nothing has been said or done. And my brother's dead, homicide, and this guy still walks around every day as if he didn't kill our brother. Dad, you have anything to say?
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with Medina and what Medina and Naima said. And I'm gonna share the story again of the night when it happened. New Year's Eve, New Year's overnight, 2020 going into 2021. I'm asleep. I hear the phone ring. I see it's Naima. So I'm thinking she's calling to wish me, Happy New Year's, Dad, or something of that nature. And what she says to me, bawling, crying, going crazy, crying, was, Dad, they killed my brother. Dad, they killed my brother. I'm like, who? I'm ready to go put on my boots and, who killed what? North Police killed my brother. And that's exactly what happened. The North Police, that coward officer, Rod Simpkins, killed Carl Dorsey on that night. And what I've been saying from day one is that Carl has children, 4 children, and he deserved to go home that night to his family. The same way that coward officer Simpkins went home to his family. The same way Ross Baraka went home to his family. The same way everybody else, those revelers went out that night, went home to their family. Carl deserved to go home to his family. And, it's wrong and it needs to be justified. So as Medina said earlier, we've been fighting this for 2 years. We have a lawyer that's on the case. He's doing a pretty good job. And, we've sent things to the Attorney General's office, and we've heard nothing back. We was at the town hall meeting the other night when he was there, and we kind of, put some things in his ear about Carl's case. And he said he was familiar with it, and on a broad term, he said he was familiar with the cases. So we just want to make sure something happened, that justice is served, that his children get their just due, that my 2 daughters get their just due, and that Carl's name doesn't just go down in vain, that he gets justice for his name and for his family. Because something else I've always said was that had the tables been turned, and that officer got shot that night by Carl or anyone else, it would have been a big brouhaha. So it should be the same way this way. We need justice, and we're going to keep pushing until we get it.
If this cop was an average person, he would have been behind bars already. But because he's a cop, nothing's being done.
Right. So, once again, something I've been saying, all along was, I'm glad to have this forum, and we need more people to do these type of shows, because to be honest with you, the only organizations that's been behind us on this has been People's Organization of Progress, People's Organization for Progress, Larry Ham and his people, and also Zaid Muhammad's his organization. Other than that, National Urban League, NAACP, Black Lives Matter, no support. And once again, I question why. Is it because the cop was black? So only time we get justice is when a white cop kills a black man? I don't think so. It shouldn't be that way. This was a black cop that killed the black man. He needs to be held accountable just like anyone and everyone else.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. And once again, sisters, thank you. And we're very behind you. And what has happened to Carl Dorsey, he should still be with us, just as my brother should still be here.
Absolutely.
And we would like to present this certificate to you and the family for Carl Dorsey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. We just heard from Carl Dorsey's family. He should still be here with us. And now I want to just introduce Natasha Pennell. She's a sister of Philip Pennell. He was killed by former Teaneck police officer Garrett Spath on April 10, 1990. And her mom is here as well. Philip Pennell's mom is here as well, Miss Thelma Pennell Dancel.
I would like to say thank you to the Stolen Lives Project for inviting both my mom and I to this platform and allowing us to be able to share our story. I want to also say power to the people. It's very important for us to continue to say our relatives' name, because just like the African proverb, if you don't never mention the dead, it's as if they never existed. And just like Carl Dorsey should be here, Gulia Dale should be here, Philip Pennell should be here as well. I wanted to start off with just briefly telling my brother's story. Philip Pennell was a 16-year-old kid who was shot and gunned down by former Teaneck police officer Gary Spath and Wayne Blanco. There were 2 shots fired on the evening of April 10th, 1990, and one being the fatal shot hit my brother in the back while his hands were raised up in the air. And he was also surrounded by a 6-foot fence, so he could not go anywhere. During the trial in 1992, the police officer was tried and he was acquitted on the grounds of manslaughter to I believe the 2nd degree. And the past 32 years has been really, really difficult for both my mom and I. Recently, this year, September 18th, 2022, MSNBC, also Psycho Films and Anchor Entertainment has produced and aired a 4-part docuseries by the name of Model America. So if you have not watched it or heard about it, I encourage you to watch the docuseries, because it goes from tragedy to truth, and it tells the story of actually what happened to my brother. In closing, I would like to say that I stand in solidarity with all of the families who suffer from who was affected by police brutality, police terror, and police corruption. I would like to also add that I believe in ending qualified immunity. I also believe in the police transparency bill, with adding a second portion mandating a toxicology report be done on all police officers that fires their weapon. I also believe in the CCRB bill, which is the Community Civilian Review Board, that every state, every locale should have a CCRB bill allowing for subpoena power for all public citizens. My mother and I we're writing a book, so look out next year in 2023 for our book. Is going to be called From Tragedy to Truth, telling my mother's story, my story, as well as my brother's story. If you would like to donate and in support of the Philip Pennell Foundation, you can go to the philippennellfoundation.org and you can learn more about it. I now would like to introduce my mother, Thelma Pennell Dantzler.
Hello, everyone. I thank you all so much for keeping up the fight for the mothers that have lost their loved ones. And I just want to say this. This has been 32 years that I lost my child. When this first happened, it was fresh. This is fresh in the mother's heart and in their minds right now that lost their child in 2020, 2021, 2022. You're going to endure a lot of pain. When no one is around and you by yourself, you're going to start looking at his face, thinking about his face, the things she or he said to you, or the good times or the bad times, or if you just could hug that child one more time. I didn't want to live after this happened. So my daughter told me, she said, Mom, but you got me. So that's why I had to straighten up, because she was strong for me when I was weak. When she was weak, we talked to one another. Right now, today, over 32 years, that pain will come back just like it did in 1990. So I try not to go back to that day, but you can't help it if you think about your child or what happened to them. Gary Spat and Blanco, they lied. They perjured themselves on the witness stand. The judge, the jury, they knew that, and they still got this man off right in front of the world's face. So please watch this documentary. It will show you the real truth. I'm happy today that this documentary, it brought out the truth, because I wanted the world to know the truth, what happened. I don't care what a person had or what they had in the pocket or had in their hand. He did not try to shoot this man. They didn't even know what he had. They didn't know anything about it. And they lied on it. They made us feel like a fly on the wall in that witness stand. They made us felt bad. I felt like I wasn't human. But I thank the mothers for sticking by me and all the other mothers. And we have to keep up the fight, because it's going to keep on happening to us. And I don't want another mother or father or child, sister or brother to go through the pain that I endure. It's just not right for them to keep taking our children's lives like that. I want my son back. I know I never get him back, but I do have my daughter and my grandson. So I'm blessed. And God have protected me these years after 32, and my ex-husband have died through these years from going through pain from his son. But if I could speak to him now, we have got some justice of the truth about his son. And I thank you guys for having us and supporting us on this. And I support all the families. Whatever I can do, I will do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Purnell family, for being here. And we would like to let you know that we are here with you. We thank you for telling your story. And we're going to present the certificate to your family as well in honor of Philip Purnell.
Thank you.
Before I go, I want to also read the certificate for the family of Carl Dorsey and for Philip Purnell. On December 3rd, 2022, the name of Carl Dorsey and the name of Philip Purnell is formally entered into the Stolen Lives Project, joining 10 of thousands of people killed by law enforcement in the U.S. since 1990. These victims who are gathered together in death shout out from their graves for justice. Over 1,000 are killed by this official violence every year. These victims whose lives have been viciously cut short all had lives and families and were part of society. But rarely are these lives or names publicized, nor are the real circumstances surrounding their death caused by law enforcement made known. Their names, stories, and faces gather in the Stolen Lives Project demand of living to tell the truth of their stories and that there be no more stolen lives. We refuse to let Carl and Philip die in vain. In his name, in their name, we will stop this national epidemic. Thank you. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for being here and listening to the families. I am also a member of People Organization for Progress and National Family Coalition. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valerie.
Thank you so
Please
much.
give your strength to the energy and the families, because not only are we dealing with this other pandemic, right? They are here telling their stories. They're here holding each other and still organizing. Valerie, your strength is just like, it's amazing. And energy goes out to you And I see people putting in the chat, we're sorry, we're sorry. What I'm hearing from the families is let's not be sorry, let's be organized. Let's do something to stop this. Let's not have more of our children suffer under the hands of the state. Let's revolutionize. Let's do something. Let's hold each other, right? That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing let's find an avenue. So people put your organizations, the campaigns, the hashtags. There's so much work to be done. We can't do it alone. We need your help. We need your assistance. So thank you, Valerie, for continuing to organize. And as you heard from Parnell family, as well as Dorsey family, NAACP wasn't there for them. Black Lives Matters wasn't there for them. People's Organization for Progress was there. October 22nd Coalition was there. Stolen Lives Project's there. Maroon Party for Liberation's here. There are organizations who are here on the ground doing that work. And please, I bless you one more time. Thank you so much for doing the work and chugging ahead. We're about to have a poem read by one of the family members. Not only are we people dealing with this pandemic, organizing against this pandemic, but we are brilliant, ray, divine, creative, beautiful, light, brave people. We are Black and brown indigenous people who are here to survive and have resilience. And one embodiment of that resilience, when I see her in the streets every time, Andre Smith, mother of Justin Smith, killed by Tulsa sheriffs, August 14th, 1998, still out here with us. Beautiful voice, beautiful energy, beautiful power, and the poems and the words. Thank you so much for joining us, Andre.
Thank you, Spirit Child, and greetings to everyone, and thank you also to Lumi, Kathy, Ingrid, the families, and everyone else who pulled together today to help keep the spirit of our loved ones alive as we seek justice by any means necessary. My youngest son, Justin Smith, he was age 24, was beaten to death by 5 Tulsa, Oklahoma County sheriffs on August 14th, 1998. He was murdered following a traffic headlight violation while he was unarmed and handcuffed. He had been driving on his way home, not in the commission of a crime. I'd like to thank the families and activists also who participated in the powerful actions in the streets during the October 22nd National Day of Protest. And I urge everyone to remind everyone else, the families, activists, and even non-activists, to wear Black every October 22nd. The following poem is by Angelina Syons, who is an educator and award-winning poet in Los Angeles. She just texted me and said she could read the poem herself, and I wish I was technologically advanced enough to do that. But this is for the families and for Miss Syons. This is her poem entitled "Birthing Dead Men." For the mothers of the murdered and the disappeared. Our narrative of Black and brown is of birthing dead Black and brown boys. When seed is planted and we host the splendid life for 9 months and build for another 24 on mother's milk and see the baby bodies pull themselves up onto stout legs and everybody claps, we still don't know the sentence that will be handed down. On the first day of kindergarten, when we leave them crying on the colored rug and the teacher assures us that they'll be okay, and we wave goodbye, lingering at the door window, we still can't fathom that one day, before we are in our own grave, they'll be taken from us. And when they get on the football team or get accepted to that school we dreamed of for them, or when we've walked them through a divorce and taught them to live in 2 households, or when we keep trying to teach them to reject the childhood friends or violent and drug-infested lifestyles that our families are condemned to, we still don't know that they're already dead. When the moment comes when they're taken, when that moment comes when our sons open the door and say, "See you later, Mom. Nos vemos, Mama," we have no idea that will be the last time we see them. We have no fucking idea that they are dead men on that day until someone comes and knocks on the door and says, Jimmy's laying on the corner with a sheet over him. Or they say, this is the Los Angeles Police Department. Are you the parent of Sandro? As our boys die, and these were my son Justin's last words 24 years ago, they say, I can't breathe. From the gunshot, the chokehold, the stabbing, the shoving in of too many bodies in the back of an enclosed truck, they say, I can't fucking breathe. Please. Por favor, no puedo respirar. And then they stop breathing. And we do too, realizing that we never knew that we were birthing dead men. The Angelina Science website can be found at angelinascience.com. Thank you.
Oof. Powerful, powerful. There are chats lighting up. I'm tearing up. Birthing dead men is something that we are definitely trying to no longer do. Please organize with us. You'll see links here. Thank you once again to Lumi, Kathy behind the scenes, putting everything together. Those who don't see, we need more help. We need more support. Carl Dix mentioned 1998, the book Stolen Lives was out. And we need more researchers, more help to make another book. As you've heard, at least 1,000 of us are being killed by local law enforcement, federal, every year. So we need your support in either organizing in the streets with us. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Pray with us. If you can't do that, that's fine. Find some money for us. If you can't do that, that's fine. There's something for you and someone else to do. And even right now, you can share this live stream because a lot of people don't know this is a reality that we have to deal with every day. Make your family and friends aware so we can protect ourselves and arm ourselves. The next two inductions of Stolen Lives North Carolina and Stolen Life in Florida certificates will be presented by or to the mothers by Carl Dix, co-founder of October 22nd Coalition and spokesperson for the Revolutionary Communist Party. You heard him speak earlier. Now he will introduce these families. Thank you so much, Carl.
Thank you again for telling folks who I am. And look, I have dedicated my entire adult life to fighting to end the system that is responsible for the horror of police murder, the horror of mass incarceration, which are the spearheads of an overall genocidal attack targeting Black people, Latino people, Indigenous people. And it's only one of the horrors of this system. I've been working to make revolution to get rid of the system that causes it. And a part of doing that is applying an approach of fighting the power and transforming the people for revolution, standing together with people in struggle against this system as I bring out to them why the system continues to attack us, why we can't rely on the Democrats to save us, and what we need to do to emancipate ourselves and to emancipate all of humanity. And part of that has been my work with the October 22nd Coalition and with the Stolen Lives Project. And what that comes down to right now today is I'm going to present certificates to two families, the mothers of two people who were murdered by police in this country. First, from North Carolina, I want to introduce Tanika Shannon. She is the mother of Fred Cox, who was killed by a Davidson County deputy on November 8th of 2020, and that was in North Carolina. Tanika.
Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Tanika Shannon. That poem messed me up. My son is Fred Cox, who was 18 years old, who was murdered in a church by a detective out of his jurisdiction here in High Point, North Carolina. Fred was not only my child, he was my only child. And I keep hearing about people saying the lack of support from the NAACP. Just know that you're not alone. I have gotten no support at all. little support from anybody. And you would think that knowing my son was murdered in a church, I would have more support from churches. None. Fred had just graduated high school, working, trying to find himself. But he was a good dude. His smile would light up the world, and he was very respectful. 6 months after Fred was murdered, his dad died of a heart attack. And it was just grief. Knowing that my life would never be the same, I had to continue. And I couldn't give up because his dad needed to be with him more than I did. We do have a foundation, FCLM.org, Fred Cox Life Matters. And I stand in solidarity with all the mothers, all the fathers who has lost their children to police brutality and gun violence, period. I'm here. Whatever you need, if I have, you have. You during the night, you need a prayer partner, I'm here. Just need words of encouragement, I'm here. You can also find me on Facebook, Tanika Shannon. Thank you.
It really should tear at your heart to hear these stories and to understand that these are just a microcosm of the hundreds of people murdered each year by the police, that they're predominantly Black, brown, and indigenous. We have to act to stop this. There should be something up in the chat about a link to the Revolution Nothing Less show, which is a show that gets into the horrors that this system commits, including the horror of murder by police, and more importantly, gets into how to deal with that, how to stop it. So check out the Revolution Nothing Less show. Check out the interview with the revolutionary leader, Bob Avakian. Right now, let me move on to bring in Cynthia Green, the mother of Sincere Pierce, who was killed by a Brevard County Sheriff November 13th, 2020, and that's in the state of Florida. Cynthia, do we have you ready to bring up?
Looks like we don't have Cynthia yet, Carl, but if you want to read the certificate.
Okay, put it up and
yeah,
I'll read it.
Let's read the certificate. Thank you, Carl.
I got to raise my glasses to do this. If you put it in,
put it up. We got Lumi on deck. Let's give one.
On December 3rd, 2022, to the family of Sincere Pierce. The name of Sincere Pierce formally entered into the Stolen Lives Project, joining tens of thousands of people killed by law enforcement in the U.S. since 1990. These victims who are gathered together in death shout out from their graves for justice. Over 1,000 are killed by this official violence every year. These victims, whose lives have been viciously cut short, all had lives and families and were part of society. But rarely are their lives or names publicized, nor are the real circumstances surrounding their deaths caused by law enforcement made known. Their names, stories, and faces gathered in the Stolen Lives Project demand of the living to tell the truth of their stories and that there be no more stolen lives. We refuse to let Sincere Pierce die in vain. In her name, we will stop this nationwide epidemic. And there's also a similar certificate with the name of Fred Cox, also being officially entered into the Stolen Lives Project, and the certificate made available to his mother, Tanika Shannon.
Thank you so much, Carl. We appreciate it. And also always appreciate the outlet and avenue for not only honoring and holding space for the families, but giving people a venue and an outlet to continue the legacy work. Carl Dix mentioned since 1960, even prior to that, right? We've been dealing with overseers, assassinations. Check out within the chat, Baba Zaid talked about Malcolm X. X is the answer, 1964, Ballad of the Bullet, whatever the case may be. These politicians, the energies that are out there, these bigger organizations that have no time for the real things that need to be done on the ground. That's why we need the support and power of the people, which is you. You are the people that we need. So again, we are not sorry people. We are organized people. We are revolutionary people, and we will be disciplined and we will win continuously, which is why they continue to attack and assassinate our people and our children, because they have that fear. We are powerful. Remember, we are beautiful, brilliant, and divine people, always. We want to call back up Juanita Young, who opened up this ceremony with the same fire I'm giving. Her son, Malcolm Ferguson, 2000, still organizing in the streets, still bringing people together, still going out from New York City to California. The mother of Malcolm Ferguson killed by NYPD police, March 1st, 2000, organizing Strong with Us, Juanita Young.
Hello, everyone. To all the mothers, not meaning to exclude the sisters and brothers, but to the mothers, as a mother, I understand what you're saying. It hurts when you hear a mother try to blame herself, or people try to say, you should have did this, or you should have did that. I heard this mother tell me, if I had only moved, if I had only provided a more safer environment. I said, hold up. You need to get that out of your mind. That will tear you up. You did not send your son outside to get murdered by no police. You provided a home. You fed him. You clothed him. You did what you could do for him. Do not put the blame on yourself. It's bad enough they put us in this kind of pain. And then to try to convince you that it was your fault. Giuliani told Margarita Rosario, her son and her nephew was murdered here in the Bronx. He told her, it's the way you raised him, why he was murdered. He never met his mother a day in her life. How he gonna come out and say something like that to her? It's people like that that give the Stolen Lives a bad name. Because when they shot my son, they told me they found him dead in the lobby. I said, you didn't find my son dead in the lobby. I said, you murdered my son. That's before I knew they even killed him. Something just told me they did. Then when I went to the district attorney, he said, your son shouldn't have went for the cop's gun. I said, show me the fingerprints on the gun. They couldn't, because I knew my son. And as a mother, we have to stand up for our children, for our loved ones. When I went to a conference here, Families United for Justice, in October, I met a lot of new mothers. And one mother got up there, and I could feel the pain coming out of her mouth. I said to the mother who I was with, get me that mother's information. To hear her speak was like, you would have to hear her to feel that pain. And ever since we left South Carolina, we talk every day, maybe 2-3 times a day, because it's bad enough they arrest our children. to turn around and have your loved one killed in a prison. It's a problem there. They're trying to say, I'm gonna let her tell you the story. Norma, come on. Are you there, Norma?
Yes, I'm here. Good
Okay.
afternoon. Good afternoon, Juanita.
Good afternoon, Norma.
Okay, hi. I thank you for this space this afternoon and for the stolen lives in the audience. My heart is kind of heavy right now. Listening to all the stories of the other mothers and just to have to sit through it. I just lost my son Terrell Massey this year, January 3rd, 2022. My son was incarcerated since the age of 16, wrongfully convicted of a murder that he did not commit. Terrell was an outgoing kid. He loved sports. He was just a happy young man. He was an only son, so he always adopted all the older brothers as his brothers. He had a heart of gold. He was the life of the party, and as you see, those pictures flashing, the big smile on his face. He served 16 years in prison. On his way out, he had 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Our last conversation was October 25th. He were preparing for, since the pandemic, I couldn't see him for about a year and a half. So we were setting up for his next visit for me to come and see him at the prison. He was in solitary confinement in Southport. He was upbeat. He was his normal self. He have had problems the last couple of years with illnesses, and they threw him in the box saying that he was drug he had drugs and alcohol. Remind you, he'd been in prison since age 16, and if he would have wanted a drug or alcohol, he would have done it in his younger years. He wouldn't have waited till he was 32 years old, and now he wants to get strung out on drugs and alcohol when it's time for him almost to come home. So to make a long story short, Terrell, when I went to the visit and drove 3.5 hours to go and see him, I got to the visit. I was told by the officer on duty that my son had took a drug overdose of some bug spray. I immediately lost it. They couldn't tell me anything, whether he was dead or alive. I'm calling the hospital. I tried to find the hospital, which was 10 minutes away from the prison. I couldn't find it. I was so devastated because I took that trip alone, as I've been taking the trip for 16 years up and down the roads alone to ensure my son was fine and doing okay while he was incarcerated. So the next day, I finally got myself together, which I never received a phone call that he was even in the hospital. So I don't know which date he actually went in the hospital. But when I arrived there, he was in a coma. He was on life support. He was paralyzed on his left side. He was just all jacked up, and I didn't know. They never asked me if it was okay to do anything for him. They just did whatever they wanted to do to my child, putting him on life support. They didn't know if he was against that or what his religion didn't allow that or anything. They didn't even care. And he didn't have any children. He had no wife. I didn't get a high school diploma or anything from my son. Um, so I'm really, really trying to find justice, and I haven't even really got an investigation why he even ended up in the hospital. I'm still trying to go through that. So I wanted to say to the other mothers that were talking about the NAACP and all the groups that's supposed to support us when we have these type of situations going on in our community. Um, Mine, I've been fighting for his justice for 16 years, went all over the world looking for justice for my son, and still none. Um, those groups are only interested if you can, if you had, my case was high profile, and they still did never try to reach out and help me or anything. Only time they're interested is when it affects their family or someone close in their little inner circle. But I just want to tell the mothers, you stay encouraged. And yes, every day, this is the first holidays that I'm without my boy. So it's been really, really hard and difficult. And I have 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren, and this has been really taking a toll on my daughters. But when you keep your hands in the master's hand and lean on his strength and not your own, we are able to endure. It is designed to oppress and depress and to keep us down and lose everything that we got because we can't function. No, think about it and think why you're in this struggle for a reason. And it's not just about you. It's about helping someone else and sharing your story so that someone else can t- adjust to and adapt to your strength, that they can go on and keep living a law abiding life and not to be upset about anything. Just roll your sleeves up and put your hand to work and see how we can continue to build and help one another to get through this together. We could cry and we pray, we do all that together. And I'm grateful for Miss Juanita because she knows everybody's asking me where did my strength come from, and I lost him 11 months ago. But to God be the glory. I'm still standing and I'm still here. God bless you all.
Thank you, Nora. Now, the next mother lost her son. He was out hanging out with his friends. I'm not going to mess his name up, Melanie. So you go ahead and speak about Kwamia.
Kwamina.
Kwamina. Oh, I would mess the name up. So,
And just call him Kwam, as a lot of us do or did. Well, as Miss Juanita stated, I am Miss Melody S. Cooper, the mother of now deceased Kwamina Akron. I wish to start by telling you a little bit about my son. Kwamina Apofin Akron was born a prince and died a king. He started preparing four-course meals at the age of 12. At 14, he learned auto mechanics from his father. He was an avid athlete, an honor roll student, and he also won several trophies and football in different states, Maryland, Virginia, Delaware. My son also played baseball. He received a silver and bronze medal for swimming and was recognized on CNN. He taught his niece how to swim when he was 15 and she was only 4. My son became a state of Maryland certified licensed roofing contractor at the age of 21. He was an outstanding rap artist. He started rapping at the age of 2. His favorite rap artist was DMX. He would rap the whole album through. My son wrote his own lyrics and composed and arranged and performed and recorded his own music. He released a couple of CDs at the age of 16. The last song he wrote 2 weeks before he died, Cut the Grass and Reveal the Snakes, was a premonition of how he would be executed by a collaboration between his girlfriend, her friend, her baby daddy, and the unlawful officers that goes by the title of Gaithersburg Street Crime Unit. He was a loving and wonderful brother, a terrific nephew, cousin, and loyal friend. They have stolen my baby from me, in which a part of my soul has been ripped out. On January the 8th, 2021, those officers sent someone to lure my son out of the apartment. The girl's mother told me within 5 minutes of Kwame being outside, he was then, well, that's when she heard a hail of fire, in which they stated it sounded like a machine gun going off, so did the media. But actually, they had ambushed my son to execute him, and what I would call no less than a modern day lynching of my child. They shot him in his back several times, turned his lifeless body over, and continued to shoot my son a few more times in the torso area while he was already deceased. They let him lay there for 7.5 hours while they tried to cover up the crime they committed while committing more crimes when power washing over Kwame. I would like to thank Stolen Lives for allowing me to share his story once again. I will continue to fight for my son to achieve justice for my baby. We are in the process of a civil action suit against these unlawful officers. I would like to thank Katie Strauss, Joanne Silver, Sora, of the Silver Springs Justice Coalition, which introduced me into Miss Marion Gray Hopkins, the leader of the Coalition of Concerned Mothers, in which her son, Gary Hopkins Jr., was murdered by unlawful officers in PG County 23 years ago on November 27th, 23 years ago, in which my son was murdered in Montgomery County, Maryland. And through Miss Marion, I met a young lady named Nene. She is the co-founder of Harriet's Wildest Dreams, in which she has done a lot to help me in this walk against police brutality. And through Miss Marion Gray Hopkins, I was able to meet this another wonderful pioneer, Miss Juanita Young, just this year, in which she introduced me into Stolen Lives. I'm honored to walk with the Coalition of Concerned Mothers in all the organizations in which that I've also was introduced to Love Not Blood with Uncle Bobby and Aunt B. This has been a journey for me, but I do know, had I not came across these organizations and the leaders that spearheaded these organizations, that I would not be in my right mind today. They have helped me, by the grace of God, to keep and maintain my mental stability. Since they have stolen my baby, and which part of my soul, again, has been ripped out as a result of my son's death, I will never be whole again. It has cost me my livelihood. Say his name, Kwame Akron, the story of a mother's love. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.
You have heard so many stories of what's happened to so many families. One of the problems is the separation. They need to stop this high profile nonsense and splitting up the families with, oh, my case is too high profile, I can't be with you. What? It only took that one bullet to kill your child. Just because they might have gave that case a little bit more attention than the other case don't mean your child is better than the next one. One of the problems being out here, getting these families to support one another, is what's being done out here. And no, you gonna have you're gonna do something, and you're gonna split the high profile cases from the local cases. I'm like, oh no, it wasn't meant for me to go to that event, because that would have never took place. Because that one bullet is all it took. And for you to stand and say, I can't stand with you because my case is so high profile. What about the life that was lost? Forget about all the attention you got. What about the sister, the mother, the brother? When Nicholas Hayward, I was just so sorry he's not here. When I met that man, the way he fought to try to get justice for his son, I'm like, I never seen a father fight the way you fight it. And he was just somebody to admire and to learn from. When they killed his 13-year-old for playing in the staircase with his friends. I mean, then you got people like Sharpton that go out there and they killed this 7-year-old girl in Detroit, Ayana Jones. I got a call and they told me what happened. I say, pick me up. We went to Detroit. Coming to find out, they were sleeping on the couch. The cops threw a grenade through the window. They was at the wrong house, looking for somebody. The poor little girl, 7 years old, died. They tried to blame the grandmother. They couldn't blame the grandmother. They built this case up against the father. The father ended up in jail. Nothing happened to the cop for shooting that 7-year-old little girl. Even when you take the cases to court and the jury find the cop guilty, like here in New York, when they found Peter Lang guilty for killing Kai Girl, they turned around. The judge praised Peter Lang, that was the cop, for what he was trying to do with his life. Forget about the life he took. The little baby grow up now with no father. It ain't just the cops that's our problem. It's them judges. It's them DAs. That's why we do need to make a change. We try to get an independent prosecutor to investigate these cases, because the district attorney, they don't want to go up against those cops. They're going to find any reason to not press no charges. That's why the cops don't fear shooting or killing one of us. They was attacking my house nonstop. They kept coming to my house 6:30 in the morning, 12:30 at night to try to make me shut up, telling me to stop going out there talking about them. I'm like, so why did you kill my son? You weren't there. You don't know what happened. We took the case to trial. The cop told the truth. He don't know why he murdered my son. But yeah, he's still working. They didn't press no charges, even though he admitted to not knowing why he shot my son. So that's why I'm saying the families, stop thinking about all these different groups. If we could get a strong families together, they would have a big fight on their hands. Because we all can't be wrong. We need to, how we did from New Jersey with the hands, we need to find a way to get the families to stick stronger together. Thank y'all.
Okay, this is Carl Dix coming back. I'm coming back in order to present to you Cynthia Green, the mother of Sincere Pierce, who was killed by Brevard County Sheriff on November 13th of 2020 in Florida. So Cynthia?
How are you? Good evening, everybody. My name is Cynthia Green. I'm the parent of Sincere Pyrrhus. I'm not his biological mom. I am, but I had him since he was 2 days old. My son was killed by the Brevard County Sheriff. Um, he's he was killed with his friend. His friend his friend was killed also with him. Um, AJ Coombs, 16 years old. My son was 18. He had just got in that car at 10:31 a.m. November the 13th, 2020. My son was dead at 10:33 a.m. There's no reason for those kids to be dead. Those kids did nothing wrong. They said that the car that they was driving was a stolen car, which was not stolen. They was looking for a gray, a silver car. The car the kids was in was a dark gray with tinted windows. The officer got out of his car. As he passed me, I came behind him because I felt like the officer was going to bother these kids. My son got into that car at 10:31. They tried to say that the kids had guns on them. There was no guns. If there was guns, they would have announced that the same day, not 4 days later. I want justice for my son. I want accountability. The officer also in turn turned around and killed himself October the 11th, 2021. That's guilt. Karma do not play. Karma will get you back for what you do to people, children. My son didn't deserve this. I mean, there's been a whole lot of stuff going on backwards and forward, I mean, I didn't birth him, but I'm the only mama he knew for 18 years. I had him for 18 years. He could have returned to his mom, but he didn't return to his mom. He didn't choose to return to his mom. He stayed with me and my husband. Um, this is just crazy what's going on. And as long as I got breath in my body, I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight till there's no breath left in me. Because I believe that there got to be some kind of accountability held. If it's only through Wayne Ivory, I got to get the accountability for my boy. I promised him that I will do that. No peace, no justice. I'm sorry, but things it's just not right. It's just not right. They're taking our babies. They're taking our babies from us. And they don't deserve this. They don't deserve this. My son, it's been 2 years, November 13th, 2 years. There's still no accountability, no nothing. No nothing. What's going to happen here? Are they going to keep killing our kids? Are we going to retaliate? Or are we going to just let them keep killing our babies? And I thank Stolen Lives so much for making me a part of this platform, to tell my part of the story. My son didn't deserve this. Nobody deserves this. Nobody's child deserves this. That's all I have to say. Like I said, no peace, no justice. No justice, no peace.
Powerful words,
Thank you.
Cynthia Green. Everyone should take them to heart. Think about the pain and horror that these families go through, and then join in acting to stop it. Check out the Revolution Nothing Less show. Check out those interviews from the revolutionary leader, Bob Avakian. Get with October 22nd and the Stolen Lives Project. Don't allow this travesty, this genocidal assault to continue going down.
Thank you so much, Mama Cynthia Green. We want say their names. You know, it was mentioned. Say their names. Say them over and over again. We talked about every time you hear the name of someone who's no longer with us or life was stolen, you say Ibaye Ashe or Presente, Ashe or Presente. There were some names that were put in the chat. I don't want to just skip and truck through. Fred Cox, Ashe. We're going to keep going with Sincere Pierce, Malcolm Ferguson, Nicholas Hayward Sr., and Nicholas Hayward Jr., always in our hearts. Kwamina Akron, a.k.a. Kwam, Ayana Jones, John T., Tara McQuow, Baby Sickon, Lamar Graybull, Crutch Miller, Gray Hopkins, Mollis Green, Angelo A.J. Croms, Errol Shaw, Udis Pierre, Michael Barrera, Kiana Nicole Blakey, Stonechild Chief Stick, along with Fred Cox again, Carl Dorsey. We heard the families, Gregory Edwards, Muhammad, Isafan, Presente, Ashe, Ibaye, Ashe. Please keep putting the names in the chats. We'll try to get to it. This is a platform to speak that truth, to speak that power, to be held, for their names to not be forgotten. We are here for that. We hold water, we hold a candle, we hold light, we hold strength, and we know that culture is resistance. We are here because we are resilient people. There is no one that I know better as an organizer, revolutionary, fierce warrior, but also a skillful tactic poet, one that can capture your heart and your soul, but also motivate you to move and grow. We're going to have a performance by Baba Zaid Muhammad, a Black Panther Party cub, founder, press officer of New York's Malcolm X Commemoration Committee, NCAP, a poet, an advocate. You heard his name mentioned before. He is there with the people, there with the families, where the NAACP, the Black Lives Matter, where they're not. He was Organization for Progress, Malcolm X Commemoration Committee's there. He's there, and we're here with him. Thank you, brother, for being here.
Mic check. Is my sound okay? Okay. I have to say my heart is heavy. My head and heart hurts hearing the cries of these mothers. Let me say just first on behalf of the Malcolm X Commemoration Committee that I'm humbled and grateful to ask to be here. I'm very proud of the work of the Stolen Lives Project. It's something I have been following since 1999. I would particularly want to shout out my little sister, Juanita Young, who lost her son, Malcolm Ferguson, in 2000. And Sister Juanita has been an anchor and an arm of strength up for mothers all around the country for 22 years. Not many can do that. This vicious, violent scourge of police brutality can rip trauma, with a hole of trauma through a family and destroys families. And many families have been broken by this scourge. But this circle of families has become a balm of Gilead, in the language of our ancestors out of the Black church tradition, a healing space where they can turn their pain into power through their organized responses to this terror. I want to acknowledge on the Jersey side a statewide coalition that is one of my responsibilities, New Jersey Coalition for Accountable Policing. I want to acknowledge a daughter who we wanted to be here this evening, who lost her former husband in Asbury Park, Asani Best, and is going through a lot in terms of how trauma is going through her body. She is hugely pained physically and emotionally. And from the Bronx, she lives in New York. She was organizing rallies for her husband and her child's father all the way into Asbury Park. She was supposed to be here this evening, but she's really, really struggling. These last few months have really been painful for her in the way that trauma does pain for her. So I want to lift that daughter up because she's a strong young sister and needs our circle. Let me do what I was assigned to do. I said earlier that today marks the anniversary of Malcolm at Oxford University, the most highly regarded university in the world, crushed some institutional gatekeepers in a debate on human rights. And one of his key weapons was the question of police brutality. I want y'all to join us on our Malcolm X Commemoration Committee Facebook page on December 18th when we mark the anniversary. The legendary Paul Robeson and William Patterson in the Civil Rights Congress charging the United States with genocide, violating our human rights back in 1951. That's where Malcolm was taking us when he was taken from us in a cold-blooded, multidimensional assassination that included the dirty hands of the New York City police. They don't get a pass because they just threw some money at one of the brothers that they framed. They don't get a pass. So join us at 6 o'clock on December 18th, and we will raise up the importance of taking our criminal to court in the international arena. And people-to-people international human solidarity, isolating our oppressors in world opinion. We can still do that. We did it just last year, the powerful tribunal that was called the Spirit of Mandela Tribunal, done at the Shabazz Center where Malcolm was killed on October 22nd. We launched it, the National Day of Action Against Police Brutality. I went from the streets of Newark to open up our tribunal right here in New York City. So let us put all weapons on the table, build a united front, and stop police brutality by any means necessary. Let me do what I was assigned to do. This is a piece called Trying Times. We're here in virtual space, pushed into this space by the challenge of the COVID pandemic on top of the pandemic of white supremacy and police brutality, right? And I was tasked to craft this particular piece for a jazz artist by the name of Zakia Zyma in Newark for a performance we did together. And it was a call and response to a powerful piece in response to the challenges of the pandemic by the great Yvette Modestine, right? This is called Trying Times. Trying Times, based on the music of Roberta Flack, a piece that she did in an album she did many years ago, and another time, some 50 years ago, we had another fascist in the White House. Some of us are older to remember Richard Nixon, may he rest in peace. Trying Times. Boom, 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 boom. Trying times, trying times. Yes, indeed, these are some trying times. Crying times, dying times, big old white lying times, sad times, mad times, bad times, germ spreading, hate spreading, sick times. Times pawning black and brown essential workers on the lung puncturing altar of sacrifice that is COVID-19. Crying times, dying times, dying times. Boom, 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 boom. Torching times, scorching times, wildfire screaming times, despairing times, glaringly unjust times, dramatic times, traumatic times, toxic, fuming, pluming, choking times. I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. George Floyd, Javier Ambler, Eric Garner, Elijah McClain. I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Dying times, crying times, white lying times, global warming, wildfire screaming times. cruel times. ICE agents butchering families to pieces times. Ice cold, cruel times. Times of cell block torture, sterilizing and rape. Times of homemade terror caught on our cell phones, videotapes. Crying times, dying times, white line, boom, 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 stifling times, trifling times, dramatic times, traumatic times, Trump trampling tyrannical times, white line, wildfire, screaming times, sad times, bad times, alienating, divisive times, Afrophobic, Islamophobic, homophobic, hurtful, hateful times, white lying times, crying times. These indeed are some boom boom, boom boom boom, boom 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 boom, boom boom boom. These are also gold times, binding times, bonding times, unforgettable building times, outrageous times, courageous times, monuments to white supremacy, colonialism, slavery, toppling face first times, times of young people marching against hate, homelessness, joblessness, gentrifying, ethnic cleansing, COVID-19, police killing, dangerous times, black young, brown young, white young, marching loud, marching proud, marching together, seizing these times. Boom, ba-dum, boom, boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-bum, ba-bum, boom. Reeling times, choking times, but these are also some hope cradling. Boom, ba-bum, boom, boom, ba-bum, boom. Sage smoking, healing times. Boom, boom, ba-bum, boom, ba-bum, ba-bum, boom. Resistance times, resilience times, grinding times, bonding times, mobilizing, organizing, coalition building, unifying times. Boom, 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 boom. Defiant times, bold times, gold times, defying these hateful, hurtful, besieged, disease, lying, crying, dying, trying times. Boom, 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 boom. We're gonna fight fire with water. We're going to fight racism with solidarity. We're going to fight capitalism with colonialism. Fred Hampton. Boom, ba boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, ba boom, boom. Boom, ba boom, boom. Ba boom, ba boom, boom. Boom, boom, ba boom, boom. Boom, ba boom, boom. Boom, ba boom, boom. We'll see you in the whirlwind.
Woo! Boom, ba-dum, boom, yes, indeed. And of course, Richard Nixon, may he rest in peace. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. The culture brings us the energy, brings us the vibration. Baba Zaid mentioned some virtual streams that will be happening December 16th by the Malcolm X Commemoration Committee. Also, there's another stream December 9th for Baba Kamal Siddiqui, Mumia Abu Jamal, Leonard Peltier, Veronza Bowers, Imam Jamil Al-Amin. We talked about earlier linking the struggles, remembering not to forget our ancestors and definitely those who have recently transitioned and also those who are still alive behind enemy lines who have fought the same way we hope you continue to fight with us for our liberation against police brutality, against assassinations. This has been going on and on and on. And we thank the coalition of concerned mothers, October 22nd Coalition, Women Party for Liberation, Stolen Lives, Malcolm X Commemoration Committee, People's Organization for Progress, Kathy, Lumi, Doreen, KB, Rosa, Beth, Sakani, Baba Zaid, Carl, Dick, Steve, Yip, Andre Smith, Ingrid, Hill, Juanita Young, of course, and Nicholas Hayward Sr. And to take another quick Ibaye Ashe, Rayshard Brooks, Anthony Vargas, Angelo Miller, Susie Pena, Gonzalo Martinez Jr., DeAndre Brunston, Jun Wang, Catherine Johnson, Shakur McNair, Gilbert Barber, Philip Pennell, David Baker, Marcus Dion, Catherine Johnson again. We want to say Ibaye Ashe Presente. And also, we're going to bring in a few more families. Thank you for being here. We are here to take that time and space. So please, again, read the chats, There's fundraising efforts. Send your prayers, send your money, send your power, send your energy, send your person to a rally, to a meeting, organize with us, do something with us to alleviate the toxicity of the oppression that we have to deal with and suffer every day. The next two inductions are of California Stolen Life and of Florida Stolen Life. Certificates will be presented by the families, Allegra Padilla, a Los Angeles-based cultural organizer, producer, who spent a decade contributing to the Stolen Lives Project and October 22nd Coalition. Thank you so much, Allegra Padilla, for being with us and for presenting the next indoctrinees.
Thank you, everyone. Such an honor to be here. I want to start off by saying we keep each other safe. You know, police abolition is key to this journey of ending the cycle of lives that are stolen, whether it be law enforcement, immigrant and customs enforcement, aka ICE, and the prison system. We are dealing with 500 years of colonial rule, 400 plus years of slavery, and the violence that is poverty. What we're doing today here is an invite not only to honor those who have passed, but finding ways to build up the many communities we are part of. Even if you have not lost a loved one, you can contribute. It's going to take all of us. This is part of an effort to connect a restoration of humanity and creating a way of living that is healthy and loving, where all lives deserve to thrive. I am honored to be working here in solidarity alongside of you because no one is free until all of us are free. Thank you to all who are here today, those who wanted to be here, and especially these families whose offering of love and action pushes us all forward. Health and help to all my relations. Aho matakuyase. And tasokomat lito nansin. Thank you to Mother Earth who receives these beloveds back as they cycle through. To start off, I would like to honor and uplift Marissa Barrera. She is the sister of Michael Barrera, who was killed by Woodland Police February 8th, 2017. Thank you, Marissa.
Hello, and thank you for the introduction, and thank you guys for having me here today. My name is Marissa Barrera, and I am the sister of Michael Barrera, who was murdered by 5 officers of the Woodland Police Department in California. And this happened in 2017. I'm also the founder of an organization called Voices of Strength, which I started in honor of my brother and everybody's loved ones and just the families. I'll share first a brief overview of what happened to my brother. And so there he is. He was 30 years old when he was killed. On top, the little girl is his daughter. He was a father, and he had a baby girl on the way as well at the time of his murder. Leading up to his death, there were things that were going on with the police department, with my brother speaking out against things. And one thing, it's been almost 6 years for us, so something that that has become very clear to me over the years is some of the killings happening at the hands of law enforcement are random incidents with people, the victims and the police, and then some of them are victims who were targeted by the police for whatever reason. And just hearing some of the families speak today, that's about their loved ones, I'm hearing similarities. And there are a lot of people killed by law enforcement that have been targeted. And that's my full belief of how and why my brother was killed. His death, there's still a lot we don't know. There's still a whole lot of mystery. But overall, he was killed by 5 officers February 8th, 2017. And it was asphyxiation. That's the term that they use. But the truth is, 5 officers assaulted him, and he was handcuffed. He couldn't breathe. It lasted moments long. 2 of the officers were sitting on him, and he was excessively tasered, according to their own policy and the taser policy as well. And this lasted moments long. The officer who finalized his death, who was sitting on his upper back with his knees in his back, was the one that had assaulted him a couple weeks prior. So he had a problem with my brother already. And this is all documented and it's evident and known. But leading up, my brother, he tried to warn us about what was happening with the police, and it was specifically that officer. And so then my brother was killed at the hands of that. And it really, I knew that what happened to him was wrong. I knew there was a cover-up going on very quick, and it involved the Woodland Police Department, but also the investigating department, which was the Yolo County Sheriff's, the coroner's office, who did his autopsy, all of them. I quickly seen that it's just all corrupt. And when I started learning more of people's stories and meeting all these families, because like other families, we didn't get that much support when my brother was killed. It was really, really hard, but the support came from other impacted families that started reaching out online. They seen me advocating, and right away I was questioning the police. My mother, she'll come to stuff, but she's like the other mothers here, heartbroken. There's times she didn't want to live, things like that. So I've been the one to just take it and go forward with it. But I think bringing the impacted families together, sharing our stories, and organizing together is definitely what needs to be done. A lot of organizations out there don't have the best interest in the families or really the truth about police brutality. So I would love to connect with the other families here as well and those watching. I started Voice of Strength in 2020, which our organization, we support impacted families. So when new families come, or families that are just new to us, and they can reach out, and we organize support calls with them and meetings throughout the year as well. But we help families share their stories. And our website is www.voicesofstrength.info. I felt this was important because as I continue to share my brother's story and advocate for him, the best way I knew how, through social media and just going out there in person to things. And I realized I met a lot of families that are isolated in different areas, and some families just literally can't be out there, and they're kind of isolated. So bringing the families together, I know that's helped a lot of families that we've worked with. And we have interviews up on our website we have about 40 of them with different families, and it just shows the narrative goes the same thing every time, from the false narratives to the media reports to them keeping our loved ones' bodies away from us, or just the numerous things they do to families. It's happening to all of us, the way it goes down, and nobody is getting justice. I think the families, I'm just going to end this with, if any families need support in that way or want us to help, we've been kind of formatting different videos, how we put them out there. We got some short videos out there right now that we're trying to sum up the stories, get them all on one platform. So if any families would like to check out our website and just connect with me, I'm on like all the social media platforms. But I want to thank the families who have been doing this. I think back, it's been almost 6 years for us. And then I look at the families who have been here many, many years, and the mothers and sisters and the parents that are still fighting. And that's who I've learned from through those people that have been here. So I just want to give much love and respect to you guys, and just people who aren't impacted. I have 3 kids too, so I don't just fight for my brother and like our families. It's like thinking about the children, the future generation. I have 3 boys that are mixed boys, and it terrifies me just thinking how it could be when they grow up. So thank you guys for having me again, and just much love to all the families and everybody watching. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa. Michael Barrera, presente. Up next, we have the honor of inviting Margarita Bonilla. She is the mother-in-law of Gregory Edwards. He died in custody at Brevard County Jail, December 9th, 2018. Thank you so much for having the strength of being here today.
Thank you for having me. And I'm honored to be on this platform. And I thank you all. I'm the mother-in-law of Gregory Edwards. And there's a lot of videos out in regarding this case. And I just want to say, I don't want to go into details, but I just want to say that this man he was beaten, tased, pepper sprayed, strapped in a chair, then had a spit mask, and then rolled into a cell. This man did 2 tours for our country, and they treated him like a piece of meat. And all the deputies that was there that day, I believe, really never know or have never been to war. They have no clue what war is. This man did 2 tours, came back, and couldn't survive. And no empathy, nothing. This tragedy actually had a trickle down effect. It affected the whole family. And, it hurts to this day. And I'm sure just like other mothers and family members, a tragedy like this, you can't get any sleep. You're constantly up. I'm worn, but then you have to stay strong. And it's really hard for me to grasp everything, because the night that he was having this episode, I told my daughter, it'll be okay. They're going to take him to the hospital. They'll make sure that he's going to get the help he needed. But instead, the next day, he winded up dead. I mean, that hurts me to this day, knowing that I said that and knowing that they failed us. The videos are out there. The history is out there. We have a civil court case coming up in March in Orlando, Florida. And I'm hoping to get everyone's support. I'm not used to things like this, but then like a lot of us aren't used to this, and we're compelled to stay strong, to go forward, to give his voice, to give all our loved ones voice. And I'm just so humbled and glad that Stolen Lives is giving all of our loved ones the opportunity. This man didn't deserve this. And the volume of officers and deputies that all surrounded him and did what they did, and for them to go and clean themselves up and just reel him in, shows magnitude on their behalf of how they treat a human. It's just disgusting. And I don't know to this day if they can even sleep at night. And the fact that you have to be careful in this journey in regarding to, we got a second autopsy, and we found that his organs were missing. And there's no accountability. We found out recently that the medical examiner still has his brain. And this is all due from us getting the second autopsy. So it's a matter of, you have deputies, medical examiners, officers, even lawyers not being held accountable and not doing their job. I mean, I lived in Harlem. I grew up in Harlem, and I thought, if I work and I earn a living, pay my taxes, this is something I wouldn't dream that would happen, but it happened to me. And, this is something that we all have to stay together and fight and continue to fight. I'm tired of being judged. I'm tired of, you're too much into this case. You see at the end too, who's your family? Who's your true family that's supporting you? Who's your true friends who are actually really there? Because sometimes this journey can be, you're alone and you don't know who you can trust. Is it somebody that just wants another story so they can get an award? Or is it someone that just trying to fill their pockets? You don't know. So not only are you dealing with the tragedy of your loved ones, but then you're dealing with the tragedy of the surrounding things that's happening. There's so much I wanted to say, and also the fact that Brevard County, Florida, this isn't the first. And so what they try to do is they try to separate out each and every case. Before Greg's case, there was a man in public 3 months before Greg, 3 or 4 months, that got tased at a supermarket, and he, wind up dying. Those two same officers were put on probation or put on leave with pay, came back, and the same two officers was involved with Greg's case. What a coincidence. But let me add something else. The Florida Today sued Brevard County for the release of the videos. The same day the video came out, I'm sorry, Cynthia, because my mind just went blank. Cynthia Green, her son, and another boy, AJ Crooms, was both shot. And they keep this thing about keeping everything separate instead of telling the real story. Was that a coincidence? The same day the video come out on Gregory Edwards, there's a killing of 2 young kids. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, and it continues. And for the fact that no one is looking into this county to see why all of this aggression continues, and they continue to get away with it. I mean, it's just so heartbreaking, the fact that, I feel like our youth are lost, and somehow we have to stay strong and stand together so we can fight this and continue to fight, because no one deserves this. And I really want to thank Stolen Lives for giving the opportunity to have these people voices heard, to not let these people die in vain. Because at the end of the day, I'm tired of being judged. And you can judge me, you can say whatever, but you know what? I'm here to make sure Gregory Edwards has a voice all the way to the end. It might not be where these people are going to be held accountable, but you know what? I want to see them face the judge. I want to see them face the jury. I want to see their faces, because now, because of all of this, I lost a grandson. My granddaughter doesn't have her little baby brother or her father. And that's why I stay strong. My daughter, she also has PTSDs. There's good days, there's bad days. And actually, the anniversary is coming up. So holidays like this really isn't for us. To me, it's just another day that I would prefer for it to pass on, because it's too much pain. I just wanted to say too, also, you just have to be careful in regarding the fight, and regarding attorneys, lawyers, the medical examiners, doctors, deputies, judges. They're all in cahoots. And that's why we have to be strong for our youth, to bring them up so that these people won't die in vain, to bring them up so that they can hold that platform where these people will be held accountable. All those people that was in that cell that day, if this didn't affect them, to me, it's like there's no empathy, there's no respect for life. How do you treat someone like that and just throw them in a cell without following rules and regulations? If it was me, if I didn't have, if I didn't do what I'm supposed to do at my job, I would be fired. But these people maintain keeping their jobs as if nothing happened. They maintain where, we pay our taxes and we rely on these people to do the right thing, but yet we're succumb to where they can control and continue to do what they continue to do this. And it just has to stop.
I'm not big of a person on speaking, but I don't know however way, like, to compel myself to say thank you. I'm humbled, and that we need to stay together and we need to stay focused in fighting this fight, because together we're one, and we can be strong and we can do it. Gregory's anniversary is coming up, and they will be having a vigil Saturday at the Brevard County Jail, and that's in Florida. And I was going to say something else, but I think I'm done. So thank you again, and I appreciate you putting me on this platform and giving not only Greg a voice, but all the other loved ones a voice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ibaye Ashe Presente, Michael Barrera, Gregory Edwards. Thank you for your words, your power, your strength. And you are a very eloquent speaker. You're saying it all, and we are here with you, and we're honoring with you. And whatever you need, please do let us know how we can continue to support. Thank you so much for your words.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. We want to say a few more names before calling up the next person. Again, if you missed the libations, this is a whole induction ceremony of libations, and we do it straight through. We open up all the time in the beginning, but we continue to have that energy going. Ibaye Ashe or Presente, Michael Barrera, Gregory Edwards, Cora Bogman, Robert Sikron, Omar Ali, Terrell Massey, Jameek Lowry, Gary Hopkins Jr., which Marion Gray Hopkins, I saw in the chat, you've been trying to get in touch with Stolen Lives. I'm sure Kathy, Lumi, or someone behind the scenes, or even Juanita Young herself will get in contact with you to try to make that happen. Yudis Pereira, Ibaye Ashe, Sandra Bland, Brianna Taylor, Eve Tapscott, Mike Brown, Tammy Birch. And doesn't matter, Andre said this, whether it's 24 years ago, it could be 60 years ago, and the families have mentioned this. For the families, they're speaking, it's like yesterday, it's like today. This is a constant memory of terror. So we need you to organize with us. We want to shout out again the Coalition of Concerned Mothers, October 22nd Coalition, and those, as Baba Zaid mentioned, those that journeyed from New York City out to Jersey, all the parents, all the people who supported that effort and sojourned, as you eloquently put, sojourned with that mission. Maroon Party for Liberation, Stolen Lives, Malcolm X Commemoration Committee, People's Organization for Progress, Voices of Strength. If there's other organizations that we don't know of, please put them in the chat. We want to have alternatives to the NAACP, Black Lives Matter, and all these other things that don't do what matters in the community and what needs to be done every day. We know who the organizers are. They're in the building. We know who the Maroons are. They're in the building. And speaking of sojourn and speaking of power of youth, we are moving into another cultural presentation. One of our young members, one of our youngest members in the Maroon Liberation School, who actually has an album out on against police brutality, just put one out, a very prolific writer, songwriter. He's your favorite rock star. He has the energy of 1,000 young people. We're honored to have him in our presence. Anytime we ask for a project or a process, he's quick with it, and he has the skills to bring it in. Please welcome Zekani.
All right. What's up, everybody? My name is Akani. In Nigerian, it means joy. So I'm here to bring y'all joy. I want to thank the Stolen Lives Project for having me here and performing this song. It's called Freedom All. And without further ado, let's get straight to it. I'm about to wake y'all up. They all wanna see me fail, and I try so hard to prevail, but to no avail. They lock me up in chains, and us this soul we're gonna rage. Make no mistake. No, what's the call? Free them all. What, whoa. What, free them all. Whoa. What. Another black man down. The vaccine was ever found. The pigs messed up now. Take my humanity, but you can't break my sanity. One day I'll be free. You know what's the call? Free them all. Whoa. Whoa. Free them all. Whoa. Whoa. Fuck! No justice, no! 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 Peace! Peace! More. Whoa. Free them all. Whoa. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sakani. What's the call?
Free them all.
Free them all. That's right. Thank you so much. And again, we're bridging and always talking about the two, connecting the struggles, because this is a legacy of resistance we have to honor. We are welcoming home Dr. Matul Shakur. We welcomed home Maroon before he transitioned to the ancestors. Baba Kamal Siddiqui, you're up next. Leonard Peltier, you up next. All those who have fought for the injustices, against the injustices that are happening against our communities. We are here in your footsteps. We are here for that. So thank you again, Sakani, for the fire, the energy, and waking us up, shaking us up. The next person who is going to present some inductees, Ohio Stolen Lives certificates, will be presented by Ralph Pointer. Ralph Pointer, co-founder of the new abolitionist movement, member of Black is Back Coalition and Jericho movement to free all political prisoners, and of course, husband, Ibaye Ashe of Lynn Stewart, a political prisoner rescued by the people. Always an honor to hear your words and feel your energy. Ralph Pointer, thank you for being with us again. As we get Ralph situated, I think there's a little, we can't hear you, Ralph, but we'll call out a few more names. Some people have put some names in the chat. Amir Brooks, Ashe, Angelo Miller, Kendrick Johnson, Karen Gaines, Ashe Presente. And if we have you, we're not sure. You can test. We still can't hear you, Brother Ralph. Maybe we'll move forward, if that's all right with you, Kathy. We'll move forward, and we'll have Ralph come up, because I know he has some words, and we have to hear those words from Brother Ralph Pointer. always on point with what he has to say. No pun, no pun. But we'll introduce Arthur Blakey, the second oldest brother of Kiana Nicole Blakey, killed by a Cleveland off-duty police officer on August 19th, 1989. Thank you so much for joining us, Arthur Blakey.
Thank you for having me. Thank everyone that put this together, and justice for all stolen lives. My sister Kiana, murdered in 1989, more than 33 years ago, was destined to go to Ohio State University on a full scholarship. At the time, I was in school myself in the University of Syracuse when the plans was made for us to take Kiana down to Ohio State University to get her set up. And 2 days after that, once I arrived in town, was when I found out that the police told my family that she had committed suicide or was suspected suicide. And it was like a shocking thing, to hear something like that. It's like, no way. I mean, she was, very vibrant, very excited, about her newfound excuse me, I'm sorry. Her newfound course, into going to Ohio State. And then we find out a few months later, after delays and after more lies from the cops, that she was murdered execution style in the hallway of her apartment at Longwood Projects in Cleveland. And so since then, like over the 33 years, I've been there standing and been there for, to find justice for Kiana when politicians, lie, about, how they put together civilian review boards and all this, to curb, but none of these things ever stopped the killing of Black and brown people in this country. And more now, after 33 years, it's painful, to even think about, especially around holidays, where she is no longer there, to be with us, to be at the table, to celebrate with us. And even in that time, the last time that I saw her was the death when my mother was taken from us, and she died of cancer 2 years earlier. So I never got to really see Kiana before this happened. And today, I have, still standing, I still say her name. I still, am fighting when all others, in my family and others have stopped, have quit, and, had said, well, we should just move on, we should just get over it. The fact of the matter, that terrific way that she was taken is enough to say for me that this fight is never over until there is actual justice. And this is for each and every person that has lost loved ones in this horrific way to police. And the one thing that kept me together was one statement that was made by Baba Bakian that says, no more generations of our youth. Wait a minute, I just lost it. Okay, no more generations of our youth whose life is over, whose fate has been sealed, who has been condemned to early death or a life of misery and brutality, whom the system has destined for oppression and oblivion, even before they are born. I say no more of that. And with that, I would close out in saying that we need to all come together, no matter, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers. I've stood for my sister, and I stood for her when she was living, and I still stand, today, for justice for my sister Kiana Nicole Blakey, and justice for all stolen lives. Thank you.
Ibaye Ashe, Kiana Nicole Blakey, thank you so much for your words and for the quote and for the resistance continuing. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We are honored to have Ralph back. I believe the sound is okay. Again, co-founder of New Abolitionist Movement, member of Black is Back Coalition and Jericho Movement to free all political prisoners, and of course, the husband of legendary Lynn Stewart, Ibaye Ashe, a political prisoner rescued by the people. Ralph Pointer, if you're with us. If not, I'm telling you, we got to get those words from Ralph. I want to get him in here. If not, we're going to move to Kimberly Vaughn, former wife of Muhammad Isiafan, killed by Akron police December 15, 2019. Kimberly, are you with us? All right, we're going to try to keep it moving. We love y'all for being out here, all the people that are putting the names in the chats. And again, all the political information that's in the chat. Hands Off Asad Shakur by Ingrid Hill. You know what time it is. We still have political prisoners and people who are exiled, who are no longer welcomed here in this United States of America. And I want to just read what Baba Zaid put earlier, reiterated what Juanita Young had mentioned earlier on in her presentation or speech. It is not just the police, not just prosecutors who won't prosecute, not just racist judges. It's the system. Don't go to your criminal's court. Take your criminal to the world court. Malcolm X. Remember, it is about this fight that we're here and we're continuing on. Yes, we got Ralph Pointer. We got you. Let's hear you out.
Yes, my brothers and sisters, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
A little faded, but we can hear you. If you could speak up a little bit to the phone.
Yes, my brothers and sisters, thank the Stolen Lives Project for bringing us together. But understand that we have been brought together through mutual pain. The pain of stolen lives. Stolen lives by the army of occupation that is put in our community to terrorize us into inaction. Your presence on this program shows that we have not been terrorized. For those who speak truth to power have been punished in this society. And the fact that you have joined us in this struggle, this many faceted struggle through pain and through the efforts of stolen lives, shows that we have not been beaten. It shows that the struggle continues with us. And when I say many faceted struggle, I'm talking about the struggle, as been mentioned on this program before, for freeing our political prisoners. Those who understood the truth and did something about it are being tortured in the death camps. We have to use proper language. They want us to be in these places until we are dead. The death camps. And as I referred to the euphemism of police as the army of occupation, they are here to keep us from joining as you have done, joining others, allowing others to join you, shows that this, as I so forth, this struggle is not in its infancy because it's been going for a long time. It is, and we can no longer wait for justice on the other side of the grave. We must on this side of the grave, and your participation in the recognition of those lives who have been stolen show that you have not been terrorized. You have been terrorized, but the terror has not worked. You are fighting back. We are fighting back. And I once again want to thank those brothers and sisters who have made the Stolen Lives Project possible. We must continue to reach out to them. The unity in this monster that we call capitalism and colonialism. You will bring it down, and you, along with others, will add heart and encouragement to those who have suffered the pain of this brutal system that we call capitalism. And we must remember that we are brothers and sisters who are in this progressive struggle to make changes because this has been our task. We have been singled out by great pain to continue in this task and struggle for liberation and justice for us all. Thanks, brothers. The thank.
Thank you so much, Ralph. I think we got you, and then we started fading at the end. But everyone, you got the gist of it. An army of occupation, death camps. Get the euphemism, get the language right. Let's organize. Let's be powerful continuously. And remember, we ain't sorry. We're not sorry people. We're very organized and we're ready. We're ready for this. So I do want to call up Kimberly. I believe she is here. Vaughn, former wife of Muhammad Isafan, killed by Akron police December 15th, 2019. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you, Spirit. Can you hear me okay?
Nice and clear. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. I am having some camera difficulties, but that just actually tells me that Muhammad is here with me. He always liked to mess with me with electrical equipment and yard equipment and make it so that it wouldn't work for me, but it would work for him. So by me not me having some camera difficulties just tells me, okay, Muhammad's here and he's laughing at me right now. So that's okay. But thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Kimberly Vaughn. I am the former wife and the mother of the only child of Muhammad Isafan. We're coming up on 3 years here on December 15th, 2019. On a Sunday morning at 8:30, my Muhammad ran out of fuel and was walking home. And by just a little bit after 9 a.m., he was dead. He ran 3 miles from his car to his home to get his gas can out of the basement, and he was approached by 2 Akron police officers who shot at him approximately 30 times. He did take 15 of those shots, mostly in the back. Neither one of the officers were wearing body cams at the time. But then officers did respond to the scene and turned on their body cams long enough for us to see Muhammad being harassed post-mortem, including noted on his autopsy, the coroner said that he had severe hand wounds as he had been handcuffed after he was killed. The officer said that they immediately gave him first aid. However, in the video, it shows that they kind of danced around him for 2 minutes. It didn't touch him or do anything to him for 2 minutes, even though they said they could see him taking labor tests. Both of the officers that killed my Muhammad are still on the force and as a trainer, as a matter of fact. In all of this darkness, there is a small light, even though it was basically the cops' word against nobody, and they went to ripping Muhammad in the papers and in the press. We were blessed as a family with a business across the street who had a surveillance video of the final moments of Muhammad's life, and we also were blessed with an eyewitness that saw Muhammad walking away from these officers, not posing any threat, not holding any gun or anything of the like, and was shot and being shot in the back and falling face down. The eyewitness was not called to testify in front of the grand jury, so the grand jury subsequently cleared both of the officers. However, my daughter and I recently have filed federal charges against the 2 officers that killed our Muhammad. So I just wanted to take a minute to talk about Muhammad, but also to him. I'm Muhammad. 1,085 days ago, you were taken from us. With the love in our hearts, Muhammad, you will walk with us forever. Our baby girl and I struggle to fight the battle of our lives. We continue to take the harassment and the threats and the lies that were created about you. We will continue to fight to dispel those lies, to scream from the rooftop your truth, and for you, even though we have to learn how to live without you. We are grateful for the time that we had with you. It's hard to turn a page every day knowing we have to forge it alone. But your story of truth must continue, and my love for you will never die, because when there is true love, there is no separation. Muhammad, your face will never be forgotten. Your voice will never be silenced. Your flicker of life was extinguished, but the fight for you will never cease. Just like your fire you had in life, we will continue to carry your fire in our hearts and souls to eternity. My daughter and I thank you for the opportunity to have Muhammad inducted into the Stolen Lives Project this evening. I've been listening to all the other families, and it's made me feel comforted that also when I went to the NAACP in Akron, they referred me back to the Akron Police Department. So I felt very alone and very excluded. So even though all of us, or most of us, haven't had the greatest experience with the NAACP, it made me feel a lot better to hear some other families I feel so alone now and being ignored or cast aside. And I would like to thank the Stolen Lives Project for helping us little guys get remembered. There's so many of us out there that don't get the national attention that all the bigger cases do. And you guys are helping us fight for us little guys. So to the October 22nd National Day of Protest Coalition, the Stolen Lives Foundation, Kathy and company Bill, or Mr. Yip, um, Bill and Belle Swain in Cleveland. Together we stand. Stephanie on the East Coast, G. Fernandez. I'd also like to thank Cordell, Quinn Handy, and Remembrance of Me Foundation. But I really want to definitely send a shout out to the People's Organization for Progress and the National Family Coalition for Justice. All of these people and coalitions and organizations that I have just mentioned have just come into our story in the past couple of months, but have showed us more love and strength and power and example on how you get through life with this. And I will be forever grateful that you were brought to our lives and that we were put in yours by God. That's all I can say. Thank you so much for listening to my story about Muhammad. And thank you for accepting him this evening.
Thank you so much, Kimberly Vaughn. And thank you for your strength and power. The chat has been lit up. If you take the time to breathe, or once you finish composing yourself, to see the love and the support and the recognition of how strong you are and the fight that you continue to fight. There's a lot of love to you and a lot of love for you, and we love you and we're here for you. Ibaye Ashe, Kiana Nicole, Bailey, Eudice Pierre, Muhammad Isafan, Eugene Brown, Michael Pipkins, Makia Bryant, Pamela Turner, 44-year-old grandmother of 3 killed by police. Shelley Frey, young mother of 2 shot by off-duty police. Right? This goes on and on and on. We're not just talking about our young sons. We're not just talking about our husbands. We're talking about our daughters. We're talking about our mothers. We're talking about our grandmothers. We're talking about our legacy that they are ripping and taking away from us, the genocide that they continue to uphold and control within our communities. But we will not allow that. We are organized. And thank you, Kimberly, for acknowledging this platform. But there are many platforms for us to continue to propel. You out there, if you do multimedia projects, we need you. If you're a fundraiser, we need you. Researcher, we need you. Maroon Party for Liberation, we are cultural workers. We provide music. So any families out there that would like to continue to get the names of their family and loved ones out there, please see us. We already had a backstage conversation with the mother of Kwamina Akron. If you heard earlier, he was a rap artist. We would love to continue that conversation to make sure his work is not only out, but that other people's works can surround that. So please do connect with us so that we can put the culture and complement all the organization that is being put into this, from the October 22nd Coalition, MXGM, Malcolm X Commemoration Committee, everyone who we've been announcing. There's a balance of this energy of organizing. So the culture also comes in, and we need y'all to support so that we can have this culture be out there in the community, in the streets. And one person who was a huge advocate of culture, organization, mixing the two, revolutionary vibrations and theory with the actions of culture as a weapon. King Downey, the lawyer, organization of October 22nd Coalition, producer, and host of Good Morning Nueva York, here, also a phenomena cultural worker himself. We always have him on the streets doing what he has to do, host, MC, and all extraordinaire. We love you, King. Peace. We can't hear you. Maybe you're on mute.
Sorry about that. It helps to unmute yourself. So props to Spirit Child, longtime cultural worker and activist in every other category you want to check off. Thanks for the introduction. I'm going to be very brief. I want to keep things moving along here. I am fired up, won't take no more, because I am tired. I've been doing this with October 22nd for 27 years and the induction ceremony. We cannot induce any more people. And if they do, we're going to get justice for all of them. So I want to just, before I introduce the family that I'm going to be introducing to be induced, I want to just say that one of my heroes is and was still living legacy Stokely Carmichael, known as Kwame Ture, head of SNCC, but also was a member of the Black Panther Party, something that's not as known as well. And he said something 50 years ago that, you hear the sirens in the background? It's still on, y'all. He said 50 years ago, today is as true as now. We are past the time for description. The time is now for prescription. So I'm going to ask everybody who follows after this and all of the families to reduce your time by just enough to tell us what you want us to do to get justice for your loved one. What do you want us to do to get justice for your loved one? You can go to the October 22nd website, the Stolen Lives website, and any other local organization that you're working with. Last thing I'll say is that I'm a member of the Family Coalition for Justice. That's a group that is also national in scope, and many of the people who are speaking here are part of that. And there's a project that I'm working on with them that every family here is welcome to join. Very briefly, the purpose of the project is to build a database of each loved one, who the contact person is, where it happened, and what incident, and we're asking the family member to give us information on the union that the officers involved belong to. If you send that information and you're willing to be a part of a letter, I'm working with law students to recruit them to help us research these unions and find out how they are complicit in the failure to get justice for our families. That's all I'll say for now. I'll put my email in the chat, or get in touch with Kathy or Ingrid if Ingrid is on, and we can add your name to that letter that's going out. We've got to get to the bottom of what's happening behind the scenes. Now, to the family that I want to introduce. Bernard Placide was killed by the Englewood, New Jersey police on September 2nd, 2022. And New Jersey has too much of this, as have other places. So I want to bring on Merlene Lawrence Hilaire to speak. And please, sister, tell us within your 3 minutes of time, or whatever time you have, what happened, but also what you would like us to do to get justice in your case. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so much to have me on the show today. I'm so pleased to talk to you today, and I want to everybody hear about my story, hear about what they did to my son Bernard Placide. I remember that day I had a confrontation with him, and then I called the police to help me. And when they came, they didn't help me. They went upstairs, and then they one of them kept tasing my son over several times, and the other one kill him. That's mean we demand justice for him. We want the policies, the officers be accountable. We want them to be accountable. We want them to to they do something to them, because unfortunately I don't hear nothing. I don't hear they doing something, but that's why we are asking. We are asking justice for him, for our family, for Bernard, and then we want to continue the fight. We're not gonna give up. We're gonna continue to let people know about that, and then to support us, and then we are here. Do you hear?
Can you let people know the best way to reach you? If there's an email, social media, website? Did you hear me? Sorry. Marlene, can you hear me? Okay, it sounds like she's shut off. Any rate, if anybody's able to get in contact her, we would like her to put into the chat the ways to reach her. So is my next person up? Somebody please let me know.
You have Trashandra.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So I want to thank Merlene and welcome Merlene Lawrence Hilaire into the Stolen Lives family. And we are proud to have you part of us and to work with you. Next, on July 3rd, 2019, Stonechild Chiefstruck was killed by, and I'm going to ask our family member to clarify whether it was by the Poles Bowl or the Kitsap County, Washington, state of Washington police. So we have with us to induce next into the project, Trishanda Pickup, ex-wife of Stonechild Chiefstick. Please, the floor is yours and welcome.
Hello, Heichka. Thank you for having me today. I'm Trishandra Pickup. I'm mother to 4 of Stonechild Chiefstick, his children. I am an enrolled tribal member at the Suquamish tribe. We're over here in Seattle, Washington, in a smaller border city of our reservation. Stonechild, we called him Stony. He was killed, shot in the back of the head and in the torso. He had a screwdriver in his pocket. And if you go to stonechildpodcast.com, you will see that there's about a 10-minute video up top. It tells a lot of the story, and it has some of the police body cam video on there. You will see that he did nothing wrong. He did not commit a crime that day. Our tribal people here in America, we are killed at the highest rate statistically than any other race in America. Kind of don't hear about it because we continue to be invisible on our own homelands. I was lost when he got shot and killed. I didn't know what to do, and I just kept looking for some answers and seeing how these investigations go. And I've known how this goes down. Sonny was born and raised in Seattle. I know how this goes down in the cities with Black and brown people of color. And so I wasn't expecting much, but to learn at how bad it was, I was shocked. So I kept fighting, and as the story started getting attention, I was able to meet people who have also been fighting in our state. We were able to get initiative I-940, which was supposed to be some accountability. And, they continue to keep finding their way out, these police officers. And so we started a coalition, the Washington State Coalition on Police Accountability. And we were able to pass some bills through. We wrote some bills 2 legislative sessions ago, and we got them passed through, some police accountability bills. We also got an independent investigations office that is still being worked on, but it's open. It's not running yet. It's not doing the investigations yet because the office is still getting put together. But it's the first in its nation. We have some police tactics bills. We've done a lot of work, and I'm saying this because I want for people to look at what we've been able to accomplish in Washington State and get our bills and try to get something similar passed in your state, and try to get an independent investigations office passed in your state. Right now, we're working to try to get an independent prosecutor, a prosecutor that will prosecute police-involved homicides and other other misconduct that's higher, you know. And so if you look up Washington State and our police accountability bills, it should, you know, it would be nice to have a nationwide standard. We've also been able to take and put some community at large and other people on a board that is the governing board of our state's police. It's the Washington State Criminal Justice Training Center that puts together all of certifies, and now because of a bill we wrote, can decertify police officers for misconduct and excessive force. And I would like to share a little bit about Stony, because he was such a loving person. He loved his children. You know, our families suffer because we are not treated as if our loved one was murdered. We are treated as if our loved one was just a criminal, and they just be smudgery upon all of our loved one's memory because they want to try to plead their case that it was a justified killing. And in doing that, they hurt our families. We don't get the support that we deserve through our losses. We're left in a gutter and we don't know how to climb out. And, you know, we have to find each other and help one another. And so, you know, his daughter, my oldest my stepdaughter, she was his oldest child. Her name was Kiara. Last year, she passed away, and it was from using. She had never done anything like that. She was like high grades, almost valedictorian of her high school. She was never in trouble. She was just this fun-loving, good kid. And after he passed away, she couldn't handle it. And next thing you know, we lost her. It'll be 1 year on Monday. And this isn't new. This is something that so many of our families, we lose our loved ones from the repercussions of this police violence. And, you know, if you can go to stonechildpodcast.com, you can hear his story and watch a small video. But also, please go online and find our police accountability bills that we have been able to pass in our state, Washington State, because if we can start getting these across the nation, then maybe we can make a real difference. We have seen less lives taken, but we still have not gotten justice for our loved ones. We're still waiting, and all of us are waiting together. And I hold all of your hands. I hold all of your loved ones up in prayer. I wasn't able to hear your stories. I've been at work. I was able to just make it into here. I will be watching later. I just want you all to know that I am with you. I stand in solidarity, and I hope that we all get justice. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, sis. Prayers, energy, love, support back to you. And we also do the same and hold you up as well as you've been fighting. And please check out what the sister's been talking about, police accountability. We want that throughout the United States of America, throughout the world. That's happening everywhere. And thank you for constantly organizing in your strength. Peace. A few more names popped up in the chat. We're about to wrap up. We're slowly getting to the last two pieces of presentations for this program. We're going to have a cultural presentation, and then we're going to have King lead the Stolen Lives Pledge. Before we do that, Bernard Placey Jr., Ibaye Ashe, Stonechild, Chief Stick, John Berg, Tamir Rice, Timothy Russell, Melissa Williams, Craig Biggerstaff, Abner Lumima, Eric Gardner, Jaquil Graham. And I know we have King coming back up to say something before we introduce the cultural presentation.
I thought that was after the cultural presentation, unless you can clue me in on it.
All right, I'll bring you back up there, King.
Wait, since I have the mic, though, I was going to ask Trishanda, and I will ask the others that if you have links that you would like us to pay attention to, please put them in the chat so that people can link to them and support either your litigation, your legislation, or any other kinds of efforts that you have for justice.
Thank you. Definitely the links. Thank you, King. Links grow into a tree. Tree has roots. We're grassroots. We form organization. King mentioned earlier and quoted Kwame Ture. Also, like a really dear quote of mine. If you are not with an organization to combat this injustice, it is hard to have a last name. Your last name is your organization. So my name is Spirit Child. How you doing? Maroon Party for Liberation is my last name. Hopefully the links will guide you to have another last name that you can adopt and to guide you through this process of dismantling white supremacy and the harassment and killing of our young people, but also our elders and our communities, right? So we need you to organize. Final performer, presentation, comrade, mentee, I'm proud to say, someone who's been working really hard for the people each and every day, talented songwriter, brilliant, energetic, Beth Bliss, an Afro-Indígena, Brooklyn native, performing poet, songwriter, mentor, and organizer, with our Maroon Party for Liberation, as well as the Maroon Liberation School, and a mentor to young people through urban art beat, doing that cultural thing, Beth Bliss. Peace.
What's up? I give thanks to the Stolen Lives Project and to all the families advocating and fighting and remaining strong. I have a piece today called Marooning on the Way that we'll be releasing at the end of this month. I hope you enjoy. Marooning on the way. Marooning on the way. We looking for the way out. Marooning for today. We looking for the way now. Mother Earth is sick. She's sinking in the quicksand. Ain't no quick fixing. Time to start healing. Tap into your feelings. I don't take shit personally, but when my people are getting killed while feds hide behind white lies, while fiends snort from them white lines, while our families get traumatized, I take that shit personally. Because a 7-year-old should not fantasize about suicide. I said a 7-year-old should not fantasize about suicide. And a 13-year-old with his hands up should not be shot down. And a 13-year-old with their hands up should not be shot down. Marooning on the way. We looking for the way out. Marooning for today. We looking for the way now. Mother Earth is sick. She's sinking in the quicksand. Ain't no quick fixing. Time to start healing. Tap into your feelings. Go and slay those demons. You may have your reasons. Marooning on the way. We looking for the way now. Marooning for today. Marooning, marooning, marooning. Mother Earth is sick. She's sinking. She's wilting. She's sinking. She's wilting. She's sinking. She's wilting. She's sinking. Marooning on the way. We looking for the way out. Marooning for today.
Thank you so much, Beth Bliss, for your words, your vibration, your energy. That's Beth Bliss with our Maroon Party for Liberation. We mentioned earlier, we do have music, we do have culture. We are creating more music, more culture for our people, for the liberation, for the struggle. As we close out, there's a few more names that were in the chat. Ibaye Ashe, Tanisha Anderson, Amadou Diallo, Marley Graham, Sean Bell. RIP to the people who have been beat up at Algiers Motel or killed in the incident in Detroit, Michigan. Free all our political prisoners from the death camps. Organized against the army of occupation, aka the police. Ibaye Ashe, Devin Brown. And again, if you're confused as to where to go or what to do, adopt a last name. There are some last names here that you can adopt. We'd happily adopt you to our family. The Coalition of Concerned Mothers, October 22nd Coalition, the Maroon Party for Liberation, Maroon Liberation School, Stolen Lives, Malcolm X Grassroots Commemoration Committee, People's Organization for Progress, Voices of Strength, and other organizations that we have talked about earlier today. Please put them on the chat. We are slowly closing out, party people, but I do want to thank those who were here earlier, Dr. Kwame Osajifo Kalimara, for doing the libations along with Ingrid Hill. Thank you so much for your energy. Thank you so much to all the families that have presented, the guest presenters, Valerie Colbert, Carl Dix, King Downing, Allegra Padilla, Ralph Pointer, Juanita Young. Big up to everybody behind the scenes to make this happen. Kathy, Lumi, Doreen. By the way, all the families, just so you know, you are not alone so much. You have someone from Belgium, Doreen's in Belgium, 6 hours away, holding down the chat, putting down all the links. We have people organizing throughout this continent. So thank you, Doreen, for your energy and support. KB, out in Chicago, Rosa, Beth, Zakani, Baba Zaid, Carl Dix, Steve Yip, Andre Smith, Ingrid Hill again, Juanita Young, King Downing, Ralph Pointer once again. And remember, tomorrow we commemorate and we honor and continue this legacy. Fred Hampton, Mark Clark, December 4th. Keep that date to you, light a candle, put some water, do some research, find out our freedom fighters who have been killed and assassinated for this same struggle 20, 30, 50, 100, 400 years. And as King mentioned, enough's enough. No more describing, we need to prescribe. So what's secure? The cure to freedom also organize. Let's get organized, let's do what we need to do. Be out here in the streets, answer the links, do whatever you need to do. Link up with people. Here, back again to do the Stolen Lives Pledge, led by King Downing. Peace.
Thank you, everybody who's participated. Thank you to all the families. We're going to say the pledge now. The key part of this is to show our collective work and our responsibility by making a pledge to each other, to the families, and to our efforts for justice. I'm going to piggyback on something Spirit Child said, and that is when we're remembering people like Fred Hampton, who lost their lives many years ago, there are many other activists from that time period who got organized around police brutality who are still locked up to this day. We call them our political prisoners. We cannot work for the justice of the people we've lost now without dealing with the people who are still locked up, who were doing the same thing for us decades and decades ago. So please go to jerichomovement.com, and learn about those folks and support them at the same time that we're doing this work. So now we will say the pledge, and I will do this mic check style. I will say a part, you repeat it, and then we will work all the way through it. So beginning, I say your name. Don't say your name, say your name. I say your name.
Spirit.
Pledge that the life and the humanity.
Pledge that the life and the humanity.
Of these stolen lives.
Of these stolen lives.
Will not be forgotten.
Will not be forgotten.
I pledge that their highest hopes.
I pledge that their highest hopes.
And aspirations.
And aspirations.
Will live on in us.
Will live on in us.
And that I will seek justice.
And that I will seek justice.
For these and all stolen lives.
For these and all stolen lives.
In this way.
In this way.
I pledge.
I pledge.
That their memories.
That their memories.
Will stay alive.
Will stay alive.
And inspire us.
And inspire us.
To fight.
To fight.
For justice.
For justice.
And a better world.
And a better world.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, King. And thank you all for being here with us again. Thank you, Lumi, for holding down the tech. This concludes our program. There is going to be, unfortunately, if we can do something to stop it, unfortunately, there will be another Stolen Lives Induction Ceremony next year. We'll probably have about 2. There are some live ones that are happening in different states, so please do stay in touch with us. Look at the website, look at the links, click on the GoFundMe. We are the people. We are the ones that come to our own aid. We do not rely on the reform on the system, on the judges, on the police to rectify or correct themselves. We are the ones that must do that. Take the power into your own hands, control your destiny, organize, survive, and whatever you need, we are here for you. There are an army of people, just like there's an army of occupation, there's a counter to that out here in these streets, online. We are winning. Again, we are winning. They are afraid. And thank you for all the families and your bravery for speaking out when no one else will speak for you, because you must speak for yourself, and inspiring us to do better, and be here for you. Thank you so much, people. We love you. Stay safe. Protect the ones you love. Hold everyone close.
When it comes down, don't you be afraid. When it comes down, no matter what name you call, just be ready for it all. I am ready for it all. When it comes down, don't you be afraid. When it comes down, no matter what name you call, just be ready for it all. I am ready for it all. Are you ready for it? Lock up and ready for it. Pack up and ready for it. Load up and ready for it. See, I and I, we a burn them constitution. I want my own liberation. I want my own emancipation. I want my own liberation. When it comes down, don't you be afraid. When it comes down, no matter what name you call, just be ready for it all. Are you ready for it all? Get ready for it all. Stay ready for it all.